Hey, welcome to a Game Informer stream. We're playing God of War. Joe Juba's here.
We are. That's
Cyril
me.
Vasquez
That's right.
is here.
That's me.
And off-screen, Leo Vader.
I'm over here.
Sinister.
The best place for him.
Absolutely. Joe, you reviewed this game.
I did.
I don't want to talk about that part anymore. So we're playing the game. You liked it though, right?
Yeah. I mean, the short version is, man, this is the game to beat for Game of the Year, I think.
Really?
I mean,
It is April, after all.
well, there's that.
They're
but
planting
I mean,
the flag.
I mean, I think in my mind, looking ahead to the rest of this year, maybe Red Dead 2 is the one that I think is probably
Over Metal Gear Survive. All right. Controversial opinion.
That's your right.
Yeah, I mean, this is in my mind, this game is just in a tier that we rarely see. This is not even every year do you get a game this good.
Yeah.
So
Now, I'm curious to see how your experience is revisiting the game after having spent so much time with it, because are you going to be going in for moves that you will not have unlocked at this point, so you're going to be a disaster?
Oh, no.
it's certainly possible. We'll see.
All right.
I haven't, this is unlike a lot of the previous God of Wars, where it's a lot of the replay value is in New Game Plus or higher difficulties, like replaying them. This one is definitely geared more towards just continuing with your save.
Okay.
So the bottom line is I am used to late game stuff right now. So we'll see how this goes.
Joe, are you in any way scared that over the course of the next 2 hours, you will realize that you were wrong about this game and have to issue a different score and rethink your entire life?
Wait, he did just say boy. Are we keeping track of that?
Yes, we are counting the boys in the lower left. So you're going to see a tick up to 1.
Got a boy counter.
So we demand absolute silence from this point forward.
That's right.
So
Or we can just enable subtitles.
Oh, that's actually a good option. We can do that.
First question from Scorch. Are you pressing a button to chop that tree, or is it a cutscene?
You're pressing a button. You're pressing the attack button, R1.
Is that the moment you knew this game was a 975?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Never seen
Yeah.
such realistic wood cutting.
Here,
I feel like I'm really cutting it.
Yeah.
How do we? Oh, there we go. Options, settings. I'm sorry. This is boring.
No, this is really good.
Exclusive first look at the
Yeah.
options menu in God of War.
We'll turn subtitles on just so it's easier.
We're also playing on a default PS4, not a Pro, so
Still
no
want me to tie it to the boat?
no 4K, no performance mode.
Right.
Which
In case anyone's asking.
that's how I played the majority of the game for review also.
Yeah.
And it looks real good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything.
Yep. Ding, that's 2.
Oh, did you say it?
Yeah.
Kratos' new famous catchphrase.
My hand is already cramping.
Quietly saying boy is maybe better than screaming Zeus all the time.
That's
true.
growth right there. Let us know any questions you have in the chat. We'll do our best to answer them.
Father,
Yeah, Cyril, you asked me a question.
did something
And then I
change?
interrupted you with boy.
The forest feels...
What was that? Do
Uh,
you remember?
Everything
I don't
is
think so. I think we were just talking about PS4 Pro.
It was before that. Oh, well.
It's gone now.
Forever
Yeah.
unanswered.
Chad, let us know what question I just asked. If you've been listening.
I'm almost certain that's not the way you steer a canoe. Also, I think it seems like it's the opposite, but
How many times have you been in a canoe, Cork?
14.
Really? Wow. Just
Yeah. Just like we have a boy counter on this stream, Cork keeps a canoe
Yeah.
counter just in his mind's eye.
there's a bottom right corner of his mind where he always keeps the canoe counter.
Mm-hmm.
Bottom right hemisphere.
It's been stuck at 14 since he was 11 years old.
Don't really use it much, but it's always there.
John Solo asks if you guys grew beards specifically for this stream.
Some of us did. More than others. Cereal.
I've had this beard for a while. In anticipation for God of War, yes.
I maybe this is maybe so I usually have a beard, but maybe I sort of subconsciously decided to let it get a little longer than normal.
You saw a lot of yourself in Kratos.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. I do like screaming at children.
Although most of the
So-
punching you do is like at the back of your couch because you're
Mad at
impotent
video
rage.
games.
Yeah, yeah.
I should have said this today at work.
I had the perfect comeback for this one situation. Oh.
More like Jeff, stupid cork.
Oh, words hurt.
Oh, I left work 4 hours ago. Dang it.
You'll just wake up in the middle of the night saying stuff like that, like, "Oh, I had this," and then your wife would be like, "Who are you talking to?"
Yeah.
Michael Medina says we're at 3 boys. Do we hear another boy?
Did we?
I believe so.
All right.
No, okay. One thing that we should point out here that about this beginning that I think really stands out. So when we went to do the cover story on this game a few months back, they were really talking up the fact that this is sort of the game is like a continuous camera shot, which sounds like a it sounds like a very sort of like markety thing to talk about, right? It's like, oh, it's one big camera shot that you wonder whether or not you're actually going to feel that whether you're going to feel that like value in the game,
Like whether or not it's a gimmick?
yeah, exactly. And I think in these like cinematic moments, it really does make a difference.
Yeah.
I think in the cutscenes you can definitely tell, but it's the idea that's like, oh yeah, it's like that scene in the raid where it's just one continuous hallway shot. It isn't because it does cut to gameplay it doesn't cut to it, but it flows into gameplay. The camera does, and then you can also just pause it. It detracts from that a little bit, so it doesn't feel as impactful. But I do like sort of the way the camera pans instead of cutting in a lot of instances.
Yeah.
I like most of my favorite games are one continuous shot, like Excite Bike.
Yeah.
She's ready.
Mario.
Let us know in the chat your favorite one-shot video games.
I don't think Mario counts.
No,
They-
you've got
they
those
have
little
screen breaks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice try, Leo.
I will say that at home I've been playing it on a PlayStation 4 Pro, and I've been kind of moving back and forth between the performance mode and I think the cinematic mode. I think is the other one. And the one thing I do really like about the performance mode is the cutscenes, because I feel like this happened with Hellblade 2, where the sort of panning tracking shots I feel a lot more intimate when they're running at a higher frame rate for whatever reason, because it feels like they're actually using a real camera. Especially in Hellblade, where you had a lot of panning shots of her, like super close-up shots of her.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like one of the few instances where I would definitely say 60 frames adds to the experience in a substantial way for me.
Yeah. And I think those are the moments that, again, like the no cut camera really does. When they're really focused on those sort of like cinematic moments.
Yeah.
I agree that like during gameplay, normally, you're pausing and stuff. It doesn't feel as impactful.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, in stuff like this, I think it makes a difference.
Right. They use it a little differently than something like the raid or like that one
Yeah.
scene in True Detective or whatever. But I think it works, and
I
I
just-
like it. Damn it.
It makes it easier to keep track of. Like, oh, it's the same boy from before.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah, you never know like if they cut away.
Which is I still have problems with object permanence. So sometimes if they cut to a different scene, I'm like, is this which boy is this?
I'm sorry.
From Legend of Ted, do you dodge or block more in combat? Does one feel more effective than the other, or is it situational?
I feel like it's situational.
Yeah, it really depends on what you're doing. Like we'll see it in a little bit, but there are certain attacks that when they're telegraphed, like they're telegraphed by either like a yellow flash or a red flash. So it's like if it's a red flash, you need to dodge.
Yeah.
If it's a yellow flash, you can parry.
Yeah, and also as you play more, there are benefits to blocking an attack instead of dodging them.
Yeah.
Because of the skill tree.
I'm interested to watch you play, Joe, because I've only gotten a couple hours in, and I'm at the point now where I'm like, I wonder if I'm developing some bad habits. And the way, you know what I mean? Like I have a tendency in games to play as well as the game requires me to. So that can often be a problem, when you hit like a skill check.
Well, one thing I talked about on the podcast and in our review talking about this game is that actually in the early hours, the game maybe
This way.
the game doesn't encourage you in the way that it could to like really wade into combat. I feel like it rewards more often than not you like hanging back and just whipping your axe at things.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we doing
That
this now?
that changes eventually. So if those are the bad habits you're developing, like you'll work around that.
Okay.
Right.
Depends on you.
I will say, like, my question then is like how long does it take to get there? You think like when should people be expecting it to switch up?
Where
I
did you
feel like
find?
maybe after about 3 hours or so is when I feel like the combat system had hit a point that I was like, okay, this is more than just me throwing the axe. I think maybe they take it slow. And hey, I mean, I didn't make the game. I don't know why, but I guess it would make sense just because it's so different for God of War, and there aren't even a lot of like action games that have a tool like Leviathan, the axe, for you to use.
Mhm.
So like maybe they just wanted to really establish a firm foundation with it first.
Yeah,
More
get to know
tries.
this axe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're too around.
Because I will say that
Could be a wild boar.
I'm at the point where we need to stop for game
Now
club.
what?
Oh yeah.
So I still, and like towards the end of that time, I still feel like there was one particular boss encounter that I sort of cheesed a little. I don't maybe cheesed by just, all right, I'm gonna sit back. I'm low on health. I'm just gonna like whittle away at this guy for a minute or so by just throwing my axe at him over and over.
Okay.
But I do feel like, I mean, it has sort of, for me, one of those things with action games where you don't, as you start building up your skill set, you don't necessarily remember all of the things you can do. Or just, oh, there's totally this ability where I can do this particular thing, but I just forgot to do it. So it's
Yes,
like
father.
adding all those different tools to your set can like sometimes be a little overwhelming. But I feel like this game
Yeah.
does a decent job of here's one impactful thing. Here's why you should use it. And here's the situation where it applies, but
You broke our bridge.
yeah, that definitely
we gonna
does.
get
The
across?
combat does get more intricate over time.
Yeah, and like and it's funny too, just because I came from that position of like
Wow.
early on thinking or feeling maybe a little restricted
Oh.
in combat, and the further in I got, like probably, I mean, my favorite part of this game is the way the combat sort of unfolds over time.
Yeah,
So it goes from being something that I was sort of uncertain of in the early hours to like the best thing.
yeah.
Demetrius on YouTube asks if there's a recommended difficulty to start with.
I'm sorry.
Boy,
Do not
That doesn't count.
I
No,
think.
yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry.
find it.
I think that the balanced experience is pretty well done for probably for most players.
Yeah.
If you are a hardcore God of War fan, you really enjoyed playing the older games on like their higher difficulties, you could maybe start with the higher with. I would start with the third one, not the highest. But the other good thing to know is that you can freely swap among them.
Except for the
Well,
highest difficulty,
yeah, except
right?
for that last one. It's like once you start a game, you're locked into that one.
Mhm.
But other than that,
You can change it in the menu.
no. What I mean is like if you go to the hardest one,
The one in red.
give me God of War.
Right.
You can't change that one.
Oh.
But otherwise, yeah, if you find it too hard or too easy, you can change it whenever.
Yeah. So I think that I mean, yeah. So you're not locked into anything if you choose one of the basic three. So you
Yeah.
can sort of just play around. I mean, I really I played around with the easy one a little bit. In one case I did like a late game thing to see that I was like having that I found challenging on the basic difficulty level. So then I bumped it down to easy to see like how easy it got, and then I had to reload my game because it just got ridiculously easy.
Oh.
So I think the lowest difficulty is even called like give me a story, right?
Yeah.
So like if that's what you want, it really is a lot more about story and a lot less about the sort of.
Which is interesting because I mean, the last God of War games obviously had a story and kind of stringing the action along. But can you imagine at any point there was someone who's like, "These God of War games seem interesting, but I don't want to. I just want to engage the story."
Yeah. Oh, and that's definitely an option with this one. I mean, like that's without. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to.
I mean,
Get too into story details or spoil it, but like one of my favorite things about this game is like the way as you play, the way like the relationship between Kratos and Atreus sort of builds in a believable way over time, right?
And I think even from what we've shown on this stream, you can sort of tell that there is going to be more of a storytelling focus in this one. So it makes more sense that there's a story.
There's a boy there.
Yeah.
Count it.
I will say though that it was a little jarring seeing like this very, cinematic tracking shot and all these very toned down cutscenes. And then the first thing in combat is just like, oh, I'm going to do a Mortal Kombat style combo on this one character where you knock them into the air and start juggling them. It was like a weird sort of like, oh, now I'm playing a video game.
Huh.
Straight out of mythology.
Yeah.
The confusingly named The Marvel Knight DC Comics asks, do you get to free roam? How much free roaming is there in this game?
There's a fair bit of it, I guess. It's weird. I think that when people were talking about this game, they were maybe trying to scale back the expectations by calling it open world. And it's not open world in the sense that like Assassin's Creed is open world or The Witcher or whatever, but the world is more open than I thought it was. Because like I basically heard, like the folks at Santa Monica Studio were using the term like wide linear or something. And I don't know, it felt like more than that to me.
Yeah, I think in general, I think it does do a really good job of sort of using that wide linear thing for most of the game. But there are straight up quests where you'll get them at some point and you have to go to a completely different spot on the map to go accomplish them. So it does feel less like, well, you can go in the left hallway and then come back and then go to the middle hallway to continue the adventure. But this game also does have those instances where it's like you can either just keep going or you can stop to like maybe solve an optional puzzle and you'll get a little bonus for it.
Sorry, I'm trying not to suck.
Right.
Whoops.
Do your best.
I blew it.
For those just joining us, we're counting all the times Kratos says boy in the lower left. So when you hear him say boy, just type boy in the chat to make sure we don't miss it.
Just any kind of boy he says, Just
Po boy still
Po
counts.
boy, yeah, Backstreet Boy. If he ever says that, we'll count that.
Well, I don't know. Does Boysenberry count?
I would say so.
Is it BOY or BOI?
Oh, I think you might have a point.
What about,
That's why we have subtitles on.
what about when he says, "It's your boy Kratos"?
Oh yeah, he says that all the time.
Yep.
Well, you can make him say that by pressing a button, so that's
Yeah.
can't really count that.
The
It's
part
kind
where he
unfair.
sits down and starts a Twitch stream in the middle of this is just such a sea change in game design.
Hey guys, what's up?
What's your boy Kratos?
Oh no, Joe.
Joe, nice aim, dude.
So you can't miss that. So it's not
Yeah.
scripted.
Wide linear.
Play it your way.
I've only played a few hours of this game. So far, every puzzle has been throwing my axe at different things. Does that change?
A little bit, but
I mean, that's largely what you're doing.
yeah.
I guess
You have to put a little bit more thought into it later, but it's not too much. Like the puzzles are fun to solve, but I wouldn't necessarily call them like like thinkers,
Kratos has a hammer, and all he sees are nails.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's part of it. There's also less of a focus, I think, on like if you look at old God of War games, there was a lot of like box pushing around and there is way less of that this time. So like
Yes.
I'm much more interested. Like I feel like the puzzles are a little more.
Don't do it.
Don't
do it, Joe.
It's right down there though. I could redeem myself. Whip my axe at that thing again. Look at
Good
this.
one.
Oh, I got it. First try.
Nice job.
Flawless. Sniper.
You just no scope that that puzzle.
Legend of Ted asks, does the axe freeze enemies? Are there different elements you can earn through a skill tree? And does the frost affect larger enemies?
The axe is frost based, so there's no.
Yeah.
Oh, Joe, don't give up. You can do this, baby.
I thought that there's
Shoot up there.
Wait a minute.
Up high.
Chuck it over there. Yeah.
Is the whoops, sorry guys.
I think you can also chuck it at that. Yeah, right above that bucket.
Oh, but I can just break the bucket. Look at that! I ruined it.
Oh.
My
The-
immersion.
The axe is frost based, but if you like other elemental stuff, Atreus gets some
Yeah.
different abilities for his bow, so it's not, I guess don't expect that that your axe swaps between I don't know, electricity and ice and that kind of stuff. But you do have other sort of elemental things in the game.
Yeah, and to answer his other question, the axe does freeze enemies. There's a thing called frost damage, and sort of different abilities do different amounts of damage, and that I think slows and then eventually stuns enemy, like freezes enemies in place. So what's this, Joe? This is your closet?
Boy.
This is a giant
Boy.
dartboard.
Boy.
It's Skull and Boy. The giant wolves who chase the
So
sun
these are
from
cool.
the
There are, what, I think 11 of these in total out in the world that they're triptychs. So they're
at the end.
a story told in like 3 parts, 3
Yeah.
pictures.
Not everybody fights.
And Atreus interprets them.
Can you open up his little journal?
Yeah, actually, that
His
reminds
journal's
me.
funny.
I like that. I like that.
I like that it's
journal.
written in Atreus' voice.
Yeah, those things. I also like just the idea of labors.
Mm-hmm.
We see these in a lot of different games, but like the approach of just like as you're playing normally, like, yep, I'm gonna parry and I'm gonna shatter stuff, and just getting a sort of having a passive counter that rewards you when you hit milestones on that.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Like our boy counter.
Exactly. Yeah.
When
But if we got prizes when we hit a certain
Yeah.
number of boys.
Square Burger says Jeff looks so bored. Can you kind of tone it up a little bit, Jeff?
I don't look so bored. I'm.
Do a little something with your arms, or that's great. That's much better.
God of War. God of War.
So I'm actually not sure if that was the right thing to do, or if
Yeah, you're on the right track.
can I not sprint?
Let us know any questions you have. We'll do our best to answer in a spoiler-free way.
Yeah,
That's
I like
tough.
talking about God of War, man.
Father.
Yeah, in case we haven't said it yet, I love this game.
Mm-hmm.
I gave it a 9.75. I played it for probably like
Relax.
40 or 50 hours.
Wow.
As an animal.
I got the platinum trophy.
Oh, you did.
Yeah, I love this game.
If you're going to be playing along, I'll plug the GI Game Club.
Oh, whoops.
Do this.
Our first episode is airing on the 26th. So if you get this game and play it up to the point where you meet Mimir, ask any questions beforehand, any thoughts about the games, and we'll read them on the podcast.
Yeah.
Podcast@GameInformer.com is the email address.
So, Joe, can you pull your axe out real quick?
Yeah.
I think that it's a fun touch. Is
Oh,
looking at
it's not letting me do it right now.
okay. Oh yeah, you gotta straight up murder that thing.
How large in scale do the boss fights get? Asks Scorch.
That's a good question.
Yeah, that is a good question. I mean,
No.
that's a hard one to answer in a spoiler-free
Finish what
way,
you
but I guess what
started.
I'd say is that I know people were concerned with the closer camera angle that this game has somehow like lost the epic scale that the series has had up to this point, and it has not.
But this deer is pretty big.
Okay,
Move over, Colossus of Rhodes. You got a furry competitor.
They get bigger than this deer.
Wow.
yeah,
Is all I
some
can say.
some are even the size of 2 or 3 deer.
Yeah. Or more.
Like stacked on top of each other, or like just general mass?
That's literally one of the bosses, actually.
Okay.
It's just 3 deer stacked on top of each
Okay.
other.
Deerberus.
Yeah.
Oh, Joe.
That was a good one. I thought that was a good one. I don't know.
Let us know if you think that was good.
If you have any questions about that joke, please let us know in the chat. I like the little touch of like there being a sort of canonical handle for the way you put your axe on your back, because most of the time it's just like, no, I just put it there and it floats right above my back.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. That is super. That's such a nice touch because, of course. Whoa.
See, that's
Oh, he
not
called
a
him by his
boy.
name.
Nope.
That is not a boy.
That's a giant.
That's right.
So what? That's about the size of 3 deer.
Yep.
So what set him off? Is he just like, there's a dead deer and he's like, I'm gonna throw that away and I'm gonna hit a boy and then I'm gonna fight this guy.
It's the will of the gods.
Unnecessarily angry.
There's a prequel where that really dives into his motivations as a
Shoot
as a
arrows,
dowdy.
buddy.
People love the joke in the chat. People are going nuts. for it.
Good. Yeah. See, I knew it. I'm a hero.
All right.
I'm a real pro here, guys.
So this is what you were kind of talking about earlier, where there's no reason given to not stand back and throw your axe at this guy.
Like
until
it's
he's
the
dead.
safest way, and you do just enough damage to where you don't feel like you're just pecking away at him. I feel like it does just substantial enough damage.
Yeah, it's not like, say, like guns in Devil May Cry, where
Right.
you're like, ugh, this is just garbage.
I'm getting my combo meat. It's staying the same, and I'm dealing damage technically, but I don't want to do this.
But I mean, maybe, I don't know, like maybe that's what this fight's trying to teach you is like, yeah, go ahead and
Just
do
chuck
it.
that axe, man.
Go ahead and do it.
Keep hitting him. Why is he falling?
What? All
The
right.
thing that tripped me up the first time I fought him is those like colored spots on his body.
Yeah.
I put way too much importance on them, and I was like, that's all I'm
yeah.
focusing on.
Right.
Yeah, well, and it might, I mean, there might be a reason. I don't know if I've ever hit them square on enough to really get the feedback to know, like,
Yeah.
yes, that was exactly what I was supposed to do. And this guy doesn't have a stun meter. See, this is an example of me thinking more in terms
Thinking
of
ahead,
late
yeah.
game stuff than what I've got right now. Maybe I should use the weaker throw. Does that do anything? I
I don't know that the light throw does anything until you upgrade it a little bit.
I generally just default towards the R2 throw. So
Right.
like,
They don't seem significantly
Yeah.
different until you like upgrade them.
for people who haven't played, it's like you have a lighter throw, which is, well, geez, that seemed to be the same thing. It's more of like a you're whipping it versus like a sort of head
Yeah.
overhand sort of chucking it. Whipping versus chucking
Yep.
is really what it boils down to.
So you're not just gonna let Atreus finish him off, huh?
No,
Also, I do like that you don't really have to worry about Atreus in combat.
Yeah.
Like he is affected by enemies, but only insofar as it prevents him from continuing to deal damage, and not like, well, now Atreus died, so I have to start over.
yeah, and seriously, I think Atreus, like, he can take damage and sort of get incapacitated.
Oh, boy.
Boy. But I think he was really only like knocked out once during my whole thing.
Look at me.
That's another one.
Look at me, boy.
That's 3 in this cutscene. 4.
Look at me.
Rocketing into double digits
Man.
on the boy counter.
Boy's gone wild.
You are not ready.
What?
Manta Minnick asks, how old
Are
is
you
the boy?
serious? I found the
Oh,
deer.
that's a good question.
I don't know for sure.
I don't think they say.
Proved myself.
9.75.
How old already?
Why not 10?
It's almost his birthday.
He's too young.
I haven't been sick in a long time.
You're platinum,
I
but
can
you're
do
not
this.
ready.
You are not ready.
This is also a question I meant to Google, but I will just ask you instead, Joe.
Okay.
Is this the same voice actor for Kratos as in previous games?
No,
Okay, so it's a new voice actor.
it's a new voice actor,
Do not speak again.
which I think has. Well, I don't know. There could be any number of reasons for it, but the reason that we were told is for performance capture.
Hmm.
That's what they said about Michael Ironsides. That was a lie.
Yeah, well, Michael Ironside was keeping cancer secrets, so
So is this guy.
who knows?
Leo, don't forward conspiracy theories on this.
Okay, sorry. Wrong platform.
Yeah. You can do that in your off hours.
3D Blast.
I'm sorry,
asks,
Joe. You were saying?
No,
Oh,
there's nothing to really say
Okay.
about it.
Alright.
It's a different voice actor, which I think is actually like I like the new voice actor, and I think it's appropriate just given like, and maybe we haven't seen too much of it so far, but I mean Kratos is just so much more restrained in this game.
The difference in tone, I think it works. Sorry, Leo, you were about to ask us a question.
3D Blast asks if this is the same Kratos from Shovel Knight.
Joe, you might be able to answer
Yeah,
that
I think you should feel this one.
I don't remember what
I think that's an acceptable answer.
Kratos and
Okay.
Shovel Knight.
Who are you trying to protect? Tell the truth.
Leo, I think you might be right. I think there is a conspiracy going on. I don't know what it is.
Something's being covered up here.
So I know that everyone talks about like as soon as there's a door that you can't get into, but you
Mhm.
can get into later, everyone's always like, "Oh, it's like Metroid." It's like, nah, I don't know if that's quite the. I don't know if I like that comparison, but there are. This is one of those games where you will see like things like this or chests or things that it's like,
Mhm.
oh, I can't get that right now. I'll have to come back for that later,
I can roll into a ball.
and you can do that.
Yeah.
I feel like people say Metroidvania when they just mean Metroid.
Yeah, don't talk
Yeah.
to me about that.
Joe, let's talk about that. Yeah, I mean, I feel like the Vania part of it is just like which one you remember most, I guess.
Right.
Just like, and also like just terms propagate in a way that just makes it so you just repeat what everyone else has said. So
Kaneda C asks, how big is the world in this game? Do you have that answer, Joe, in meters?
Well, square meters, cubic meters.
Cubic meters.
yeah,
I want height included.
Well, let's see, about 10,000.
Cool.
10,000.
So these guys you can't hit with your axe. You have to melee them,
yeah,
right?
you have to punch them
Hmm.
because they're frost and you're frost. And... All right.
So
And I
Atreus has never seen his dad do any of this stuff before, really, right? Or has he?
That we know. I don't think
'Cause
not that we know.
The
of.
Draugr haven't gotten this close to their homestead,
Yeah, that's
and he's never gone hunting with his dad before, right?
Yeah, I don't know. The sense is that Kratos has kind of been an absent father. I mean,
Right.
like, he's Kratos at one point like asks the question, like, did your mother taught you to hunt, didn't she?
Mhm.
It's like he doesn't really know what Atreus knows or doesn't know or whatever.
Yeah.
So
It is also funny that Kratos just bitched his son out for stabbing that troll. He's like, "You're not ready." Meanwhile, it's like he tears a guy in half at the shoulder blades and crushes his face in with his boots. Like, all right, you had a little bit of a temper tantrum there as well, sir.
Well, yeah, I knew what I was doing.
Yeah, exactly. It's stylish when I do it.
You have to have a rage-induced freak out while they're still alive.
But why would a fire troll burn Mother's garden?
oh, is this what you were talking about with the axe before?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
but,
wanted
like-
me to do that?
Yeah, what it hooks onto is a nice like God of War symbol. You know, the Omega,
Omega,
symbol.
yeah.
Yeah.
I like if you throw it and don't have it and go into a cutscene, it zoops onto your back at the start of it.
Oh, really?
really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Why don't you show that off, Joe?
I'm done with the axe for today.
See ya.
That's where I keep my axe.
Oh, wait.
Just wherever.
While we're here, we're back. I mean, are we back home yet? Yeah,
Yeah.
This is home.
Yeah, wherever you leave.
Oh
your
yeah,
axe is
we're in
home.
we're in the back. Home is where the axe is. That's the classic saying. So there's the pyre. She's burned up.
Yep. That fire did its job.
Mm.
We could go.
There we go.
Oh.
Side
Automatic.
boy.
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 We should ask them to send over the script and we can just control F.
Control F
On the
for boy.
boys.
So
Mhm.
one thing that we may have talked over, people may have missed at the beginning, is once we in that opening scene when Kratos and Atreus are taking the tree back,
Mm-hmm.
Atreus says something like, "The forest feels different now."
Right.
That's important.
It is important.
Jim Pinto wants to know how necessary the gear optimization is. Did you find yourself spending a lot of time thinking about gear?
Optimization isn't necessary, but it's fun. It's the sort of thing where it's like, I don't know, let's say, hold on. Screw it. Let's say that you're playing like Diablo. You could probably get by in Diablo with just using the armor that armor that happens to drop, but you want to do what you can to like, I don't know, put good gems, like slot good gems in there and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe this isn't a good example.
I will say I was
But-
doing most of my equipping based on what looked cool over what had the best stats. And I think I'm getting by just fine.
Yeah. I mean, for me, a big part of the game that I really enjoyed was sort of having those like goals on the horizon of like, ooh, I can upgrade this.
Yeah.
I like this armor. This has good stats. So it's like,
Looking at crafting requirements and
Yeah.
getting excited when you finally get that resource of like, okay, now I can totally make this thing stronger.
so I think that's a good part of the game, and I would recommend it.
Very good.
But
Yeah.
it's not, if you are just not interested in it, I don't think it's necessary. You can use what you find, and I think you'll be just
I
fine.
haven't been sick
So
in
as far
a
as
long time.
cosmetics go,
I'm better now.
is there like a wide variety of visual styles for the things, or typically like, hey, I like one shoulder exposed. That's just how I do it.
Come on then.
I think that there are basically
You want me to hate?
I want you to
there's
try.
there's not a huge variety.
Okay.
Um,
Can you get a vest?
Ow! What are you?
sort
Try
of.
again.
I mean, it's basically like
Why are you doing that?
Too slow. Try again.
Interesting.
Cut it out.
well, no, I'm trying to
Again.
think of whether or not like it's
Again.
Stop it!
Again.
would be considered a spoiler, but like
Okay.
there are just a handful of sort of gear archetypes
Okay.
that change a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but generally that they're like
lost
three
it.
kinds of things you
That
equip
is
that
difficult.
each category looks generally the
And you,
same, and
Atreus,
Okay.
are
they
clearly
generally
not
lean toward favoring certain stats.
What was that?
quiet.
Kratos still has the scar on his belly from the Blade of Olympus.
So, putting to rest the conspiracy theory that it's not the same Kratos that I just forwarded.
What's going on?
Huh.
Do you know
Well,
More importantly, I
There
know
you go.
what you are.
A theory that was debunked before it was before it could even
Down
propagate.
there. Who is that?
I do not know.
What's he talking about?
I do not know. Get in.
Just tell me what I want to know. No need for this to get bloody.
Would have really helped our counter if this was another boy.
Hmm.
I thought you'd be bigger. But you're definitely the one. Long way from home, aren't you?
What do you want?
Oh, you already know the answer to that.
Whatever it is you seek, I do not have it. You should move on.
And here I thought your kind was supposed to be so enlightened, so much better than us, so much smarter. And yet you hide out here in the woods like a coward.
That's Jeremy Davies, right?
You do not want this
I
fight.
don't know.
He looks familiar.
I'm pretty sure I do.
Yes, it is.
That's Faraday from Lost, right?
Leave.
I haven't seen Lost.
Why?
That's awesome.
Oh, what if you missed all the homages to Lost in this game?
You're going to have to kill me for that to happen.
I warned you.
Finally.
Punching Kratos seems like a
You
great
would not
idea.
listen.
Mm-hmm.
It's what I would do.
Fine. My turn.
I don't want to spoil anything, but this fight's kind of fun.
Yeah.
How incredibly disappointing.
Yeah,
Come on, then.
this series really knows how to kick their games off.
Mm-hmm.
Point.
Huh?
For me.
Alright.
Manta Minnick asks, do you think they named the boy after disgraced U.S. Army General David Petraeus?
I mean, I don't want to spoil any late game
Yeah.
developments here.
Are you even trying?
Not to watch our coverage from our cover story.
Tell me what I want. Pain stops real simple.
It's not often you see Kratos get his ass handed to him.
Just getting choked by some guy.
Yeah.
He can kill gods all day.
And this feels like sort of the first time that you see that tracking camera really work well.
Yeah.
And that this feels epic in sort of the same sense as past God of War games, but the way the camera moves, I think makes this fight feel very different from past God of War games without sort of losing sort of that bombast that the series is known for.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get him with the tree.
Like his that elbow in the back, like uh-oh.
Slow and old. You should never have come to Midgard.
What?
So, care to try again?
You talk too much.
You won't talk? Fine. Maybe whoever it is you've got stashed in that house will.
My Spartan Rage is available.
Don't make me press both of the sticks at the same time.
Trees are my favorite weapon.
That's an amazing shot.
Let's find out.
Spartan Rage is pretty fun in this game.
Yep.
I like that you can, like, in most encounters, you can basically just smash the attack button and he'll just fly from one enemy to the other.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Former GI intern Haley Fax asks, who does everyone think should play Kratos in a God of War movie?
Joe Juba.
Gotta agree.
Yeah, I think that guy's got some talent.
Yeah.
Well, so that was me not paying attention to a red flash.
Yeah, and you have to dodge those. You can't.
Right.
block.
Bruce Willis is bald.
Yeah, Bruce
So
Willis.
save money on costume there.
That's good.
I think that it should be Timothy Olyphant. He did such a good job with Agent 47.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's really good at playing video game characters.
That's what he's really best known for. Whoops.
I would love it if there's a specific sort of like requirement. Oh no, he plays video game characters. That's exactly what we need for this movie.
And he's been a bald before.
Yeah.
Bald?
I have Timothy Olyphant has experience in being bald.
Oh, man. This fight is so cool.
Yeah. It's like the moment where this game really starts going off. It takes a little while. Like, so far, I'm at the point, again, where we're at the game club, and there's been maybe one other fight on this scale, which has been, but like, pretty, like, this moment feels like a super good way to introduce a different kind of God of War for me.
Well, and this is awesome. He's all like, he's walking all slow and
Yeah.
Old.
yeah, slow and old.
Also, you can show off the snow tech in this one. 'Cause look at that trail.
That's really good.
I forget where my house is.
Just gonna do a figure 8 here.
Actually, I really did forget where I'm supposed to
Can you write
go.
Joe Juba in the snow?
I'm not gonna do that. That's gonna waste everyone's
I bet
time.
you probably could. I bet that within like maybe 2 weeks there will be a video of like I wrote, some dumb message in the snow of God of War. And it blew up on Reddit.
Yeah.
But yeah, this intro I think is great because like this fight gives you a sense of what, like, the game's sort of combat ambitions. But that first section is a lot more about its sort of storytelling ambitions. It's just a good intro.
It does a really good job of integrating sort of like combat and then also the cutscenes in the gameplay.
They're tearing the ground apart.
But he's not even wearing shoes.
That old body will get out.
He's got so many like splinters in his feet now.
I want you to know one thing. I can't feel any of this.
You ever punched anybody in the air, Joe?
Not punching, no.
Okay.
You shooting
Well, I've whipped pop cans at skateboarders.
while in midair,
Yeah.
while diving through the air.
Well, they were, yeah.
Were you on a skateboard of your own at the time?
No.
Were you crossing past each other in
I
midair?
haven't
going
actually done
opposite
this,
ramps?
guys.
Have you ever juggled someone? Have you ever hit someone after juggling them in the air?
No. I should have just said no. That was the more truthful answer.
That's fun.
You can't win.
Another former GI intern asks, "What did you think about the emotional beats of the story?"
Wait, which one is this?
This is Blake Hester.
Oh, okay.
I'm not my
I like them. Again,
I
like,
think they are good beats.
well, it's again, that's a thing that's hard to talk about without
spoiling stuff.
like getting too deep into the specifics of it. But I think that they do a good job of is taking what I think is like Surreal had mentioned before, the sort of like bombast of the series, and they don't ignore it. Like,
Yeah,
I feel like
they
they-
clearly, like as you're watching now, they clearly don't ignore it.
right, but I mean, like, I feel like they try to go beyond it,
Yeah,
but they don't pretend like it didn't happen. Like, Kratos is clearly haunted by the things that he's done in his past, and part of his restraint in this game is, trying to avoid, trying to move
Yeah.
beyond what he was, right?
I think it feels like they are being more selective with it, so it makes moments like this a little more impactful.
Right. So as far as the story beats and the emotional beats of the story, like, that's what I think that's where it surprised me the most. Is how well it sort of leveraged this new identity without necessarily like forgetting what it was. And I mean, I can assume that even if you haven't played God of War before, I don't think it would be alienating. All you need to know for the purposes of this story is that, like, Kratos has seen some stuff
Yeah,
and done some stuff he's not
real
proud
strong.
of.
The pacing feels different from like a lot of action games where, like, you think about even old God of War games or Bayonetta, it just feels like the entire pacing of the story is how can we top what we just did in the craziest way, so that every encounter just gets crazier and crazier and crazier.
Yeah.
So this feels different from that, but it
Yeah.
still feels like they are trying to have their big moments land.
Yeah, I feel like this game, is not playing that sort of game of one-upsmanship
Yeah.
with itself in the way that some of those other ones do.
Right, they're more focused on like making you care about the characters instead of showing you something cool, but they also along the way show you some cool stuff.
Yeah. So that's what I think about the story beats in a broad sense.
me feel something, but you can't.
Do it.
I told you not to make me click in the sticks.
So I don't understand why Kratos doesn't pull his head off at this point too, just to like.
So I can come back later.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's tired.
Well, something tells me that is the last we've seen of that character.
He did get his neck
Yeah.
snapped.
I don't
Archie on YouTube asks, "The magic girl is so hot, can't remember her name."
Who's the magic?
I'm sorry, that's not a question.
Oh.
I just read that. Kevin Karimi is dying to know if we'll see Fenrir in this. Is that someone? And that's a spoiler, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
probably
in terms of the, I mean, without answering that question specifically, what gods do and don't show up, I think, is too
Yeah.
spoilery.
After all this time. Faye, what do I do? Our son is not ready to carry your ashes to the top of the mountain.
Squareburger says this game is 20 hours to beat, 11 if you skip that fight.
You shouldn't skip it though. It's a good fight.
Can you skip it?
No.
I can't remember. Has Kratos done that before in previous God of War games? Concentrated and had all of his cuts and bruises heal up?
Without you.
I don't know that he's had a bunch of cuts and bruises before.
Yeah.
Is he turning into a Logan?
It does. It
They're
does have,
Loganing him.
It does have a little bit more of a Logan vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that movie's so good.
But we cannot stay here.
Say it. Say it, Kratos.
Boy.
Where's my cellar boy?
Boy.
There was so much. I thought. You're all right.
I am all right. Come. Gather your things. We are leaving.
Thought I wasn't ready.
You are not. We have no choice now. Prove me wrong.
Yes, sir.
Please call me boy.
Sir was my father.
The mountain. It's gonna be a long trip.
Yes, but an important one.
Whoa.
Man, I really love
How
when
did this
games do
happen?
this.
Hmm.
They like give you a thing. Like your mission is to get to the top of that thing.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah, it's
Go-
almost like a road trip.
It's really
game,
far-reaching. Like
yeah, go
how
to that thing.
yeah.
It's like, oh, okay.
You know what other game kind of did that? Breath of the Wild. When they said when your goal is to beat
Shut
Ganon.
up.
They do.
It's true. Somebody asked earlier if this is more fun than that.
Who was
Yes.
Than that game.
I do not know.
I haven't finished the game, so I can't tell you.
We're nobodies.
It's more fun and better in every
you kill him?
respect.
I did what had to be done.
I like how Atreus just follows you, like we said earlier. You don't ever have to tell him to move or go somewhere,
Right.
like get on my back or jump across
Never leave
that.
me
There's
alone
no
again,
waypoint kind of
alright?
thing. It's
Yeah.
just
All right.
Yeah, people are wondering if he gets annoying in this game.
Yeah, he does not.
Yeah, he's in no way annoying.
I think there are moments in the story where personality-wise, by design,
Okay,
he's
yeah.
kind of annoying because he's just a little kid. But like as far as
We do
playing the
what
game
must
goes, I have not
survive.
encountered any times that
Animals
he's
I
gotten
get.
in the way.
They're
Yeah,
food.
yeah. From a narrative
Father,
perspective, I think
they're
they
supposed
do
to be
want to
good.
convey the sense that like, yeah,
People.
he's a child and he still has stuff
They're
to
trying
learn,
survive
and
too.
but
Close your heart to it.
yeah, from a gameplay sense, like
On
this
our
game
journey, we'll
never
be
feels
attacked
like an
by all
escort
manner
mission. You
of
never
No.
creatures.
feel like
You're micromanaging him.
yeah,
or
and like your success never depends on him on like the computer
Not allow
doing the right
doing
thing.
or not doing something.
Mhm.
You know, like
not feel for you.
Kratos or Atreus more than anything because like him shooting his arrows is just on the square button.
Has this been
like-
here all this time?
He feels more like like another tool in your
Yeah,
repertoire
another,
rather than
like,
just like
additional
a
thing.
companion
Up
you need to
there.
worry
Mhm.
about.
I can get a better look.
Squareburgers counters he's annoying already right now.
Well,
if
that's
you
less from a
think his
gameplay
yeah,
perspective.
I mean, if you think his personality is annoying, there's nothing I can do about
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
I liked it.
Nowhere to go from here.
What if you want a game that's just men? Just two men.
There's the Army of Two
Army
Men.
of Two, yeah.
Nice.
Um,
Army of Two Devils Cartel.
That's the same series, yeah.
Wait a second.
Assassin's Creed
There's
Unity.
a chain.
Hold on. I need to get this bucket.
Very important.
I destroy buckets.
Okay.
That's my my
New comic
personal
series.
narrative
Oh.
for Kratos.
Kind of your thing.
I like to destroy buckets. I don't know about you.
He's on a quest to destroy buckets.
I made it all the way to the end of this puzzle and then noticed that bucket and was like, I don't care enough about whatever that currency is to backtrack all the way to get that bucket.
Silver.
Oh man, you need every last bit of
Ooh,
hack silver
first
you
try.
can find. You don't. There's lots of hack silver.
Is there enough to get everything in the game? Like, is there a finite amount of all the resources to upgrade all your gear and stuff?
Yes, but you don't need to. I wouldn't worry about it. I
Okay.
guess is the short version. Like
Boy.
There you go.
there are some things for which like there are a limited number of certain materials that you might need to upgrade something. So, for instance, let's say that there's like a really good suit of armor. There might only be enough of a particular thing in the world to upgrade each one, like each piece of that, right?
Mhm.
Other things may not use it, but that just means that like you would have to do certain side quests to get every last one of those things to make sure you can upgrade that whole suit. or that whole,
Father?
set.
Will we see others on the road?
Here's a question I have.
Friendly?
We saw some like the
They'll try
collectibles
and
earlier.
rob us?
Do you
Possibly.
like how major do you think the bonuses are for getting all of that stuff? Is it just like, hey, here's the sense of satisfaction from having done all these things, or do you feel like you get meaningful like bonuses at the end of these collectibles?
Those things you don't. I mean, they're like
Okay.
like artifacts you can sell for hack silver, and you should.
Okay.
Like once you find them, they're added to your collection. So
Mhm.
they're just sitting in your inventory otherwise. So when you get the opportunity, you can sell any
This time,
artifact that you
Gonna
find.
protect
Right.
yourself
Now you have,
around
like-
our entire
And when
world.
you hold on, and then when you collect all of the artifacts, there's like a set bonus of
Saying
like
broken
experience,
leg.
I think, for it.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's like that thing in those
You write those
collectibles in
down?
particular, you just get a nice like experience.
Right.
boost.
Okay,
She
like
shapes
you were just saying though,
fire.
there's like a set of masks, for instance.
Yeah.
Can you sell them
Can you do that?
piecemeal, or is it
Yep.
worth holding on to all
Okay.
of them and selling them all in one big shebang?
There's no reason to sell.
Okay.
'Cause you can if you have artifacts to sell, you should sell them.
Okay.
Okay, so there's nothing like, we saw one of those the storyboard things. Like, is there like an extra cutscene for getting all of those throughout the game, or is it
No,
like,
there are trophies for
Okay.
it.
all right? So it's mostly all reward, like tangible rewards
Well,
based, not necessarily narratively.
I mean, let's check. Yeah, I mean, pretty much side quests are different, or I guess what they're called favors
Mhm.
are the things that are like the traditional side quests. So some dwarves will and like other NPCs will send you on some favor things, and those are the things that have sort of like narrative threads to them.
right?
Labors here, these are all just, I mean, you get experience rewards. It tells you over there on the other side what they are. I think I want to find the one we were talking about, the things in the world. Yeah, so when you find all of them, you get 6,000 experience.
Okay,
points.
and that's like there's no like extra scene or anything. Okay,
I mean, not beyond the stories themselves, which
Right.
I think are
yeah,
interesting.
right. But
you
there's
know.
yeah, okay,
So,
just
But yeah,
How long will
those
it take to get
those
to the
things
mountain?
don't have.
I do not know.
Those are more minor
before
accomplishments.
winter falls?
So without
I do
spoiling
not
anything,
know.
is there anything
Okay,
like
okay.
COD of War style jokey weapons?
Should I fire?
Wait for
This
my
game
mark.
does not go down the sort of goofier route that, like in
Are you
terms
going
of
to
like
attack?
post game unlocks and stuff.
Yeah, okay,
like
like
that.
a chef hat and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said before, I think part of what I like about this game is the way that it does encourage you more to keep playing with your one playthrough rather than
going back and doing it again.
yeah, like restarting wearing a weird costume or something.
Okay.
Saksham Kokar says, how does the game run in performance mode? Does it touch 60 FPS? Does this have like PS4 Pro options like that?
It does. It has the performance option, which runs it at a higher frame rate. I don't know that it's choppy, but I think you may not notice it most of the time. Like I'm playing on performance mode, and I can note like every once in a while you'll see a little bit of choppiness, but I kind of prefer it for the reasons I mentioned earlier of just like the camera. I think works a lot better in performance mode. But I think it's it's a solid either or. I don't think you miss out on too much by
Really?
having it on sort of the cinematic mode if you have a 4K TV.
I think the performance mode, I've been playing on that as well, and I like it a lot during the cinematic moments, but I find that it is a little inconsistent during gameplay.
Yeah.
And when it shifts and adjusts, it kind of throws me off a little bit.
Yeah, it's not. I wish that I could wholeheartedly recommend it because of that cutscene thing,
Yeah.
but it's kind of one of those things. Like if it bothers you during gameplay enough, you may just want to switch to cinematic.
Yeah, it's not
mode.
to the point where I'm like, oh boy, it's like affecting my gameplay. It's more
yeah.
just like, oh, this is a little weird.
Yeah, you notice it a lot during gameplay, but it doesn't. Every time you notice it, it's not like it's gonna make you lose a boss fight you otherwise
Right.
would have won.
Exactly.
But we're playing on regular PS4 and it doesn't
Right.
have any of those options.
Right.
No. And they're buried under the audio video options, I think, the performance mode under camera or something. It's in a
Yeah.
weird spot. So, Joe, just in case people don't know how it works, can you kind of talk about the different meters on enemies? And like what?
Yeah, so the meter that we're looking at on top is their health, and the meter on the bottom is their stun. So when their stun is full, that's when it opens up that grab option, which if it doesn't kill them outright, usually does a crap load of damage.
Yeah.
Unlike previous God of War games, there's not like a quick time event once you do it. It's like you just initiate the grab and it happens.
Kind of like that big troll guy that we fought. As soon as I jumped up on him for the first time when I played it, I was like, okay, get ready. I'm gonna have to hit X to turn his head and circle to make sure to go around his back or anything. No, it's just like you get on there and then you just watch it happen.
Yeah, it's basically all one big cutscene.
Yeah.
And so a lot of what sort of like crowd management in this game boils down to, because you have the axe, it's a little more tactical, it's a little more focused on one enemy rather than what people may be used to in previous games. So a lot of what you're doing in terms of crowd control is managing those stun meters.
Mm-hmm.
You're wanting to like bump those up so you can initiate a grab. Have like Atreus at this point in the game generally only does he really does stun damage is his main thing, which is really good. So like if you're doing damage to one enemy, Atreus might be like shooting arrows at another one. So as soon as you finish whatever combo you're in the middle of, you can then jump over and like do a little bit of like build on the stun meter that he was already doing.
And you can buy upgrades for him too that'll allow him to shoot arrows that are more designed to do stun damage too.
Exactly. And like for Kratos, he does more stun damage with his fist and shield versus the axe, which is more straight damage.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a trade-off while you're playing.
There's a Yetnar settlement ahead.
So yeah,
Giants.
that's one of the things that I really appreciate about how
Just
the
language
game
mother now.
unfolds.
They're all sort of connected.
Yusuf
sometimes,
wants to know if
so
there's
I
going to
can
be
find my way
DLC.
through
Do we
stuff I
know?
shouldn't know.
I don't think they've said anything about that.
Yeah, I don't think they. I mean, if they did make DLC, what would you want to see?
I'm not going to talk about that.
Okay.
There are opportunities for DLC, I think.
All right.
But I think to go into specifically what those would be, it's not. I mean, and these aren't huge spoilers, by the way. But it's like, I don't know. People are just picking up the game. I don't want to just unload all the details right off the bat. But I guess in a much broader sense, one of the things that this game does really well is like at the end of when God of War Ascension came out a few years back, it really felt like the God of War field was fallow, right? In terms of like where they could go story-wise. This game really opens up several new frontiers in this universe where it's like things could be happening, and I would be excited to see either in like future installments or in DLC or whatever. There are places they can go.
How about an arena, Joe?
What if there was a wave-based
What's that?
What if they just
mode?
dropped wave-based combat? That'd be the worst. I would pay $0 for that.
Yeah.
Battle Royale mode with 100 Kratoses just running around all of Midgard?
It'd be like the final fight from the original God of War, or one of them where there are a bunch of
Kratoses?
you're fighting a bunch of Kratoses.
Kratai.
Kratai, yeah. So this is another example, I think, of like part of what I was talking about before when I felt like the early part of the game felt a little restrictive. Is that like, okay, I have this runic attack, and you have this particular runic attack for a while, and it's another little while before you get a heavy runic attack, and then so it's like I felt like there weren't enough options there early.
Okay.
And rest assured, like you start to get a lot of different things that can occupy those slots.
You have a surplus of things.
And they serve different like interesting purposes. Oh, I have to do this. So it's not just like, oh, they're all stuns or the different runic attacks are very cool.
Yeah. To the point where I had to experiment for a while just to see which one I liked most and which felt most effective for me.
Yeah. Oh, you idiot.
Father, help!
Hang on!
Hurry! I'm slipping!
Stay
Well, this will
calm.
teach you a lesson.
Almost there.
Don't taunt the bridge.
The bridge is a god too.
Sometimes you cross the bridge, sometimes the bridge crosses you.
That
Or
wasn't so
something.
bad.
Or
Slow
something.
down. Your haste will cost us.
So this is safe.
Sorry.
Yep. Nothing suspicious about this room.
Just a bunch of very patient models.
More Draugr. But these
Walking
aren't
around.
moving. Are they dead? I mean, more dead?
Boy,
Oh,
Oh,
that
that
counts.
counts.
Yeah.
Not
That's a
dead, not dead.
extra boy.
All right. What?
Remember, accuracy over speed.
Did you just say boy while striking?
Remember, boy. Yeah. So.
So I see right now you're kind of hoarding your Spartan Rage.
Yeah,
Is that typically what you do?
I was saving it for this fight
Okay.
because when this was a fight I played back when we visited the studio for the cover story, and this was the first time I died.
Yep.
So I was like,
Never again.
I'm probably way better than I was then, and there's no reason to be worried about it. But I wanted to,
Yeah.
just in case, I wanted to keep it in reserve here.
Something I've noticed, like a lot of these larger kill rooms too, they're generous with giving you one item that will refill your Spartan Rage.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely don't need to hoard your Spartan Rage. It's not like you'll get it if you use it in one encounter. I don't think it'll like fill up so quickly that in the next fight you'll get it again. I don't think it's that fast.
Right.
But
Some would say you could use yours right now.
yeah, I can. I'm waiting. We'll see.
Yeah, you'll see.
You will see
jets,
his Spartan
Leo.
Rage.
What? There we go. Nothing like playing chicken with a fireball. Okay.
I think I've been very patient.
Even more time.
They call that health stone, right? That green stuff?
Yeah.
Blizzard's health stone.
Ooh.
Okay. Sorry.
No, that's good, Joe.
Mm,
Good job.
I can do better. That was more of a surreal joke.
Try better.
Oh, okay.
Be better. Okay, I think there's a boy coming.
Workshop that one.
Read it.
Incoming boy?
Oh, this used to be a marketplace. The giants used to gather here to trade with the gods a long time ago. Wonder if Odin was ever here. Whoa! Above us! Something's breaking through!
I'm not worried.
It'll be okay.
It'll hold.
There you go. Happy.
There's Spartan Rage.
Just fling him off
Overjoyed.
it.
There we go.
Fuzzy Ribbons wants to know, are there varied animations in the grapple kills, like in the 2016 Doom?
It might be per enemy.
I think the same enemy has the same grapple kill,
Yeah.
but no two enemies have the same animation for that. I think is accurate.
Manton Minnick wants to ask if there is anything that has disappointed us with the game so far. Everything he's read sounds like this game is just a pleasant surprise. So that leads into that, because for me, I did notice when I was playing in just a few hours that I was watching the same animation dozens of times. If I can be blunt and to the point.
Thank you, Leo. Appreciate your honesty.
Yeah, for the most part, I think that's an issue with just this being early game. And
Oh God, Joe.
oh, did I die?
Yeah.
Dang it. Well, we'll try again.
So you can die.
It
Kratos
is
can be
possible.
killed.
Yeah, sorry. Playing and talking is not my strong suit.
I think someone in the comments asked to see that. So you're
Yeah,
welcome.
what happens when you die? That's what happens. No, I forgot what I was saying.
It was good though. You're talking about
Oh yeah, yeah. So like early game, you're fighting one type of enemy more, like you know, these basic Draugr.
Mm-hmm.
You get as the game goes on, encounters are just more varied, and it's less often that you're just fighting a room full of the same thing. But I'm trying to get that.
Oh, his that up.
You're so
Yeah.
close. Get your stun up.
This is really good.
I blew it. Okay, whatever. And
Oh,
Like the little flex at the end.
whoop. Someone's bugging my kid. There we go.
and you don't
Don't
have to
bug
do
my
anything there.
kid.
You like, if he gets knocked down, he will revive himself.
Yeah. You just can't use arrows for a little
There
while.
we go.
get that health, Joe.
I don't need it. I need it.
This is the last one.
Wonderful.
It's the last one. Where?
I think he said it's the
Oh, okay.
the one you just chucked off the edge there.
There are some later in the game. There are some sort of like challenges that those guys end up being a pain with, and
We will see.
you learn quick that the easiest way to get rid of them is just to huck them off of.
Oh, yeah.
Huck them off of ledges.
What is that? So we're going towards the scary singer?
Probably don't have to do this, but
Why not do it?
why not? I like breaking stuff.
What's your strategy for these guys?
So this is a good example of an enemy that just sort of requires a little more of a different approach to it. What the? Why is that
You
happening?
lost sound. Yeah. This happens to me sometimes as well on my PS4. But I have no, there will be no headset nearby.
This never happens to me on mine. Whatever. This is an example of a fight that requires a different approach because this enemy will dodge your axe strikes.
Yeah.
So really want to use Atreus to sort of stun it a little bit,
Yeah.
and then that's when you can. Oh dang it!
I almost got her.
Yeah, I was going to say, because one of my early goals early on was to stun one of these things, and it took me a while to actually
Oh, you did?
do it. It took me a while.
What,
Yeah,
what happens to her?
You can totally do it.
You
grab her and you
beat her
punch
up
her
real
face.
bad, yeah.
Oh, I punch her in the face. You get poisoned by that yucky brown stuff too, right?
Yeah.
But she moves in such a way that you can only get a certain number of hits before she'll, basically retreat.
There we
There
go.
it is.
We got it.
Punch. As advertised.
Whoa.
It's good animation.
Cool kill, Dad.
Never thought I'd see one up close.
Something I like about this game is that you can just press square at any time and have Atreus shoot an arrow at the floor, just like wherever you're aiming.
Just be at the ready, boy. I might at any point demand you shoot an arrow where I'm looking.
Yeah, follow my eye line.
All right.
What's your estimate for the length of this game, Joe? We've got some conflicting theories in chat.
So I can only speak to my experience with it, obviously, which took me about 30 hours.
And you died 8 million times, is that right?
What I did do was I was pretty thorough on the exploration front. So I didn't do everything before I beat the game, but I spent a fair amount of time doing side quests and, optional content. So
Still don't understand why that man attacked you at our house.
I don't think
Told you,
that
boy, I know nothing more. of
30 would be required for everyone who's picking it up and, mainly interested in the story. But that's what it took me.
Also, Leo, with regards to the length of the game, what separates a theory from just a guess?
Well, he's got to have his data
That's true.
from his playthrough.
This-
If
the-
he
the
hadn't
person
finished
who
it, I
guessed?
would ask for a
Oh.
guess, yeah.
I have a theory
Alright.
based on, this random evidence that it'll be 25 hours.
This is an example. So this enemy's health bar is purple. That means that he's harder.
Yeah. Because you're still level 1, right?
Yeah. So this is a fight that maybe if I were way more hardcore, I could handle going toe to toe with this guy. But why?
That's how
Yeah.
I've beaten it, and now I realize that I've made a big blunder. That's what I should have been doing, is just huck that axe at him
Yep.
a bunch of times.
Lazarus Orange asks, who says boy the most? Kratos, Homer Simpson, or Foghorn Leghorn?
Oh,
Kratos.
man, I'd have to review the footage. Foghorn Leghorn likes boy a lot.
But
Yeah, Manton Minig makes a good point. Something to consider when Foghorn Leghorn says boy, he usually says it twice. Now, boy, I say boy.
It's true.
It does wonders for his meter. Yeah,
Padding
for
his word count out a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah, I would say he's almost disqualified for that reason.
for abusing it.
Yeah.
There was that one scene where he says it like 4 times, though. Kratos, I mean.
Yeah.
So.
who would win in a boy off?
Oh, the little chicken hawk from Foghorn Leghorn, because he can make a paper airplane that shoots bullets and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You seem to know a lot about that guy's capability.
It was the only channel that I got was the Foghorn Leghorn network. So quite familiar with him.
I'm really excited for the Foghorn Leghorn reboot. That's just going to be a lot, more gritty. It's going to depict him
Just
as a dad.
super dirty.
Yeah, with a beard
What we all
somehow,
want.
even though he's a chicken
But how?
or a rooster.
Follow me.
So we just got some soft steel,
Mhm.
Svartalfheim steel from that chest.
Fartlefine?
Whatever. And reminded me to point out that we talked about this a little bit earlier, but whoops. But yeah, basically any crafting resources you have, like, don't worry about hoarding those or saving those for later,
Yeah?
because like as the game progresses, the materials progress.
Okay.
So like I just got soft Svartalfheim steel, and eventually you get hardened steel and all that stuff.
Okay.
So it's like hoarding a bunch of early game resources isn't going to help you in the late game.
Mm-hmm.
So if they can be used to like upgrade a piece of equipment that you like and are using now,
Yeah.
just go ahead and use them.
Would it kill game developers to just have a little tooltip that pops up saying, incidentally, feel free to use this?
Yeah.
I don't know. Then what would we write about for beginners tips?
They're really thinking of us when they make
Use the
these
block
games.
button.
We really have to consider the guide writers' audience.
Earlier, you said people might try and rob
Manton Minig says he just had to cancel his Foghorn Leghorn Network streaming service membership because $95 a month is just too much.
Yeah, I think a lot of the shorts keep dropping out too. You're just like,
We'll stay out of it.
why are we
Yeah.
even paying for it at this point?
No
Right.
more of this.
Right. Let's see. I know. What's
I've heard
over
they've got
there.
2,000 original shows this year. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
Yeah. They're
just
just
all
doing
based around the
everything.
same character. Yeah.
The idea of 2,000 shows based on Foghorn.
They- It's really the problem with those is they all just basically take other shows and just appropriate Foghorn Leghorn into them.
It's his family sitcom, Cock of the Walk, is basically
right.
Everyone Loves Raymond with,
Yeah,
with
they
Foghorn
literally
Leghorn.
just take episodes of Everybody Loves Raymond, except they sub in Foghorn Leghorn instead of Ray Romano. They really just wanted to look at the storyboard.
Mm-hmm. What is this? Some kind of triptych?
Go. Oh, still more. Yeah,
Just had to get that last one in there.
boy.
What about instead of God of War, Fog of Horn?
Mm.
That's really a smart joke. The more I think about it, I like that a lot.
There's layers. There's layers.
Yeah. Yeah, and then
Young Misfit asks if it's boring. God of War used to be action packed, but this is boring. So he's saying it is boring, I guess.
Okay.
Well, that's not really a question then.
I mean,
is it?
If
Yeah,
you
I misread that one legitimately.
If you think this is boring, then there you go. Maybe it's not for you. This game's not for
I mean,
everyone.
yeah, I'm just on the upside where I wasn't like that big of a fan of the previous God of War games because they always felt really like the sense of scale in those games was really cool, but like the actual combat always felt really mashy in a way that like I guess I never really got good at and never felt like I had to. Where it's just press the square and triangle buttons interchangeably and then people will die.
That's one of the things that I think this game really does well in terms of improving. That is that like I feel like combat is so much more deliberate,
Involved,
and
yeah.
so much more tactical than it used to be.
Hrungnir's body squished him. Idiot.
And he's just kind of standing around.
These premillennials.
I feel like I would be playing a lot more of this game if Yakuza 6 also didn't just come out.
Yeah,
That
that's
game's
the other-
extremely good.
Mm-hmm.
Although it feels like, I mean, I guess I'm sure like for a lot of the people, like it feels brand new. But for me, like I haven't even played that game. It's just out, and I already feel like, oh yeah, that came out this year. Just because reviews like hit, and we had like Cork had the review copy in so far ahead of that game's release.
Right.
Yeah. It's not often like it was rare for God of War that the reviews for this started hitting last week, a whole week before release.
Yeah.
And for Yakuza 6, reviews were hitting like a full month before release.
Yeah, I have fond memories of that game.
Yeah. It's almost like that game was done and then was delayed.
Oh,
It's all nostalgia. That game doesn't hold up.
This Yakuza 6 remaster is just, made me realize I don't actually like this game. I am, by the way, looking very much forward to playing Yakuza 6.
You should play it.
I'm gonna.
So I think did I just hit the
Thank you.
thing? So these, this is interesting. So these chests, maybe I wasn't explaining this as I was doing it, but they're locked by these runes that are off in the environment. A lot of video games, I feel like, have conditioned players to be like, if there isn't a solution immediately visible, then they're like, oh, well, I have to come back later for that. And while there are some things in this game, like certain things that
There's certain locks that you can't open your first time through.
for these chests, you can basically always do it.
Yeah.
Like,
'Cause-
so if you think there's something in the environment that you're missing, you probably are. Like,
Yeah.
don't
And
going further into the game usually won't help you. There is one time in the whole game that I was like, I don't know what this is. I don't know how to do this, and it was because I did not have the thing I needed to do it.
Okay.
One time
for one of those chests?
for one of those like rune lock chests. Yeah.
The other thing is that, like, most of the time it seems like if there is a lock that you can't open, Atreus will basically tell you, I don't think we have the tool for that.
Yeah,
Or,
that's
like,
true.
there might be a better way. So they very clearly tell you which solutions you can, which ones you can solve basically, and which ones you can't.
This part was a problem.
Yeah, those witches are really hard to stun.
Fuzzy Ribbons asks, would you say this game has enough for people who don't really care for the heavy story focus? Just want gameplay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think so. There's, between sort of the combat, which I like, and some of the puzzly stuff that you saw, there's a lot of it where it's basically if you explore, you'll eventually find something. If you like walk around the area and kind of scout it out, you'll eventually find something interesting to do. But I think between those two things, I think it does a pretty good job of being a fun game beyond sort of like the very serious tone that it's trying to impart. But that said, I think the story is a big part of it.
The story is a big reason why I like it, and it's also a big thing about how like this game differentiates itself from the previous ones in the series. But like, this isn't, it's not Gone Home. It's not a story-based game. It's still,
This isn't Gone Home?
well, it might be. Oh shoot, I wasn't paying attention. Well, or I was sucking.
Yeah.
Maybe
It
you were
was,
just
it was a
no.
little of both.
I would have done that a little differently.
Yeah, I would have won the fight.
I would have
is the
actually
difference.
blocked some
Yeah.
of the
Right.
attacks. That might have been nice.
Over there.
Wait, did I not open that? Is that what that was telling me? No, I
No,
you
it
opened it.
remembers that.
Okay. Not this time. I really want to set up that stun here.
How did he know I
Do
was
it.
there?
Do it. Oh, come on. Do it.
There
Yeah.
punch. This is for my son. Is that a good Kratos impression?
Yeah, it's very good.
Hey! Watch out for my punch! I'm gonna punch you!
So one thing that's weird is like some attacks are telegraphed by flashes and some aren't. So sometimes it's
I think usually if they're flashing, that just means that it's a big attack that's going to deal a lot of
exactly.
damage.
Oh, right, you
But-
can't parry it, I think is what it means.
No, if it's yellow, you can parry it. That's what it's telling you.
Oh, I thought the
But-
big strong guys you couldn't parry.
Oh,
I thought that's what young Atreus wrote in his journal.
As long as it's a yellow attack, you can parry it.
Parry it then. Prove it, dude.
Well, I'm gonna die. There.
Nice parry, dude. You really made me look like a jackass.
You parried his point by actually doing a parry.
Oh, Joe.
come on.
Yeah, those revenants are.
Spartan Rage for health boost.
I don't. Oh, I do have it.
Yeah.
Wow, that filled right up. Okay.
Yeah, you just picked up a little thingy.
What? Wait, what happened to my
happened?
Spartan Rage?
I think you turned it off
Oh,
somehow.
I must have accidentally turned it off. Dang it!
So that
Come
answers
on,
the question.
come on!
You can turn
Oh.
off your Spartan Rage if you want.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Throw your axe.
Oh dear. Oh no. Back to you, Leo.
All right, all right. No, we'll do this.
We'll do
I will
this.
tell you, this is my absolute nightmare.
What's
Right
that
here.
over there?
What? Oh, like
Like being
not
on the sticks, it just like,
per-
oh yeah, I can't
performing
do this.
poorly
Not
on,
being
on a
able to-
live stream.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh well.
We can edit this out later.
We can warp reality to not have
Footage
this in it.
missing.
We will just pretend like this never happened, and if anyone asks, we'll just tell them they're crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so instead, we're gonna let that Revenant just do its thing.
Because you got a free refill right there too.
Yeah, of the rage, you mean?
Yeah. Oh boy. You could probably farm for boys here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's why we're doing this over and
Boy
over.
farming.
Yeah, one thing we haven't talked about is sort of the boy crafting system, where as you collect more boys, you can find them out in the world, and you can replace Atreus if you don't like him. That's not a real thing, by the way.
And boys you get on this stream will carry over into the
Yeah,
game.
Oh really?
in New Boy Plus.
Boys plus.
So
That'd be
this is-
interesting if there was an unlock a younger, better son. Like, oh. Yeah, not so smart now, are you?
Did you ever wish the camera was further back? Were you ever getting hit from off screen?
Yes. Again, that was more of a. I mean, a problem from this phase of the game for me, like in those earlier bits, is like in battles like this, I felt like there were battles like this, but there were ones like it that have even more enemies that just sort of left me feeling like even though there's a red indicator flashing, there's a lot going on screen sometimes, and it matters what kind of attack that is, right?
Yeah.
Like is it someone just throwing a fireball at me? Is it someone like right next to me about to slash, and that influences like? I mean, I guess in either case, dodge,
Also-
dodge away. But like, if you want to be better, it's like how you respond to those things might be different.
Yeah, it's also weird that they use. I guess maybe this might be a individual thing, but they use purple for
Yes.
range things and red for melee, and I don't feel like those two colors are distinct enough.
It's a bold move.
Yeah, I feel like maybe like blue or yellow or something would have
Yeah.
been a little bit better to distinguish those two.
Yeah.
They may have a colorblind mode in the options.
Yeah, maybe.
They may
Changes
not
it to
also.
red and maroon.
Yep.
Red, yeah, red and. I think your joke worked.
Yeah.
I couldn't
Thank
think
you
of
for
it.
I think we're
surrendering.
good
Yeah.
here.
I'm done. I'll leave your joke alone.
Can you jump in this game? Asks Rignar's room.
I mean,
No.
you can cross gaps by jumping.
Yeah, but I mean, there's not a
Yeah,
jump.
there's not
a
enough.
jump button. There isn't like platforming challenge.
You can roll though if you're looking for a fun way to get across the world, right?
Oh yeah. You can do so much
What's
rolling.
that smell?
Every time I got to a gap, I thought I was supposed to press X, and then I had to remember it was circle.
Yeah, I feel like between that and A Way Out, which I've recently been playing, a lot of games that don't like using X to do X related things like jumping or confirming actions.
Wait, to us?
Behind me.
What if they change like the others? We'll have to keep them alive. Strip off their meat. A little at a time.
Can you
This fight
guess
is mine alone.
how well a group of normal dudes does against Kratos? The answer is they don't do super well.
I thought that first one was going to be just a fluke, probably.
Kill Gunter.
We got Dan Tack in the chat. You guys know him?
Who?
Wish I didn't. I ain't gonna trip you up.
Does he have a question?
Yeah, feel free to ask any questions, Dan Tack. He says he's at the point in the game where he needs to be for the game club.
All right.
Okay.
Nice job.
Thank
you want
for
to join
that
the game
question.
club if you're going to be playing the game at launch? First
wait, that's
episode
a
is the
trailer.
26th. Join the conversation in the GI Show podcast feed.
Is that Dan
Podcast
Tack saying
Game
that? Is that his
Informer.
message that he put in chat?
He is speaking through me. I am a vessel.
Oh gosh.
Bourbon,
Not-
bacon, roast,
Sweet avioli.
sweet avioli.
What?
I know he likes.
It's bird
put-
aioli.
Yeah, burnt aioli. Cheerwine.
Cheerwine,
Oh, Cheerwine is good.
Blizzard, Diablo 5.
Boy,
Whoa, Dan Tag in the chat. Are you ready? Are you ready to give us a scoop on Diablo 5?
Seems a little premature, but we'll take it.
I am the protagonist in Diablo 5.
Whoa, that's a really bold move.
Oh, good.
There's no microphone that you can use.
I can't talk to my friends.
close your heart to it.
Atreus just killed a dude who landed on top.
Come then. We have a long journey.
Killer B187 asks, if you miss stuff in the game, can you come back to it later and
Yep.
get it?
You can. There's
I will handle this.
like, at least as far as trophies and stuff are concerned, I don't think there's anything missable.
I wonder, isn't there also some sort of lost and found, or is that something else? Or am I forgetting that from another
Are
game?
you thinking of like Perkins?
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking.
If you forget your hat?
Yeah. When I meant to say
I don't know
that
what
this
you
game-
mean by lost and found. What does that
Isn't there
mean?
a thing at some point that like, hey, there are some items you forgot or something? I don't. Maybe,
Oh yeah. Like if you forget to pick up something important like off the battle, like
Yeah. Like
spoils, you can get it.
Yeah.
That's only in
But
new
I-
game Perkins.
But
Mo.
I also meant the time I went to Perkins and forgot my hat.
Ooh, swift dodge, Joe.
I'm the best. Ugh. Atreus is like
No, he's scared.
he's in freak out mode. That's why he's not helping.
Hey, what if the stranger came back as one of these guys? That'd be a tough fight, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I seem tougher.
They came back.
Name one guy who's tougher than my dad.
It is finished. Then collect yourself. We must find a way out.
In stores now.
Only $29.99.
Here,
So this is a part that I know some people in the office found annoying.
Oh, I did.
find
I
something
like it.
to pull me up.
But like what we were talking about
Okay.
before. This is a part where you might find Atreus annoying because of just
If you already hate him.
who he is, but I mean, like, it's a story. It feels like a story moment to me.
Mhm.
It's not like this kid's supposed to be annoying. It's that he's like,
You just killed a dude.
yeah, they're trying to drive home like a sense of trauma here, and I think it works.
Yeah.
So-
I feel like sometimes when people say, "Oh, like I hate this annoying kid," it's like maybe you just don't like kids.
Yeah.
Because I feel like so far it feels like Atreus is a pretty realistic portrayal of a kid in a game.
Yeah.
Because he
Atreus.
has not fought people
Jane.
before.
Jane. Right.
You are in your head, boy.
Boy.
Let it go.
Boy.
He would have killed you.
I know, I had to do it. I do know that, I just...
You should be glad that Kratos isn't chewing him out for not killing him
And we will go home,
permanently.
boy.
What?
Boy.
To give up this easily. So close to the start.
Wait, no. I'm not giving up. I can do this. I just have to, catch my breath. Come on up. I'm ready.
It does seem funny to me that Kratos, who, we've seen be punched through houses and things, is like stymied by,
This
this wall is like 10, 12 feet high. Nope.
Not today with
That's
these knees.
that's the end of my journey.
Yeah, it's also weird considering like some of the leaps he has made in past games.
Yeah.
Listen to me. To be effective in combat, a warrior must not feel for his enemy. The road ahead is long and unforgiving. No place for a boy.
Boy.
You must be a warrior.
I understand.
What are we up to on boy counter right now?
We're at 24.
Man.
That seems a little light.
Do you think we've gotten all of them? Do you think we've collected all of the boys?
Chat's been good about keeping an eye on it.
Okay.
Oh, good.
That's another walkthrough for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Just where to find every boy in God of War.
Man, you're gonna
Marked
get some,
on the map.
You're gonna get some weird search flags for that.
That's true. But
Uh,
hey,
we
that
wish-
could translate into SEO.
So that's where we
Yeah.
were. This is that spot we
Yeah.
fell into at the beginning of this sequence.
the faces of magic.
All right. Oh, it doesn't want me to go there.
Mm-mm.
Not yet.
I think you look up there.
So this is, I think, sort of what
Oh.
they, to some degree, what they mean by this, that wide linearity of
There
just
you go.
there's a thing on the here's a little detour you can take, but you know what the main path is, and you know that at some point this is going to lead to a dead end.
Mhm.
These things are Odin's ravens. They make distinct sounds. There are 51 of them in the game.
Did you get all of them?
Kill them. Yeah.
Was it a real pain in the ass?
Yeah. Especially since I was playing this game before any sort of guides were out. So it's like now,
Yeah, you could.
when
just
you
look
play
it
this
up.
game, like, in 2 days, you'll be able to look this up and just be like, all right, here's where all of them are. I had to spend more time than I would have liked going around.
Is there any kind of
finding
tool
them,
that Kratos
but-
could get to make finding collectibles later in the game easier?
I don't think so.
Okay.
There's a
Yakuza,
reward.
you can get a watch.
That's one. Yeah. Kratos doesn't have a watch.
Why doesn't Kratos have a watch, Joe?
Can't get this slow-eyed cocklump to cross the bridge.
Because
Because
he,
she's scared of something in the trees.
because
up there.
Kronos is
What
dead.
now?
Yeah.
I'll,
Okay.
Father,
Okay.
I'll let
your
that joke
actual
pass.
trees
It's not
on
my
the other
best.
side of the bridge. The ones with the white truck.
It's no Deerberus.
People asking for a boy supercut. That was Hanson's idea this morning. That actually eventually evolved into just having a boy counter on the stream.
Trust me just this once.
Well, don't worry, people. Leo's gonna put it together for you.
Any
I like-
day now.
But I mean, like, if we're at
25 now.
they told me to do something. I don't remember.
Hit that
Tree
white
with
tree.
the white trunk and orange leaves.
Oh, okay.
Right there on the other side of the bridge.
It's like he knew your question.
These kids splaining. I'm surprised that Kratos puts up with that.
You were right.
But I like the idea of a supercut. If our counter is at 24 and each one takes,
Does that count? Other people calling him boy, or is it only
Does she have
Kratos?
a name?
I don't know.
It's only Kratos, right?
Chat, weigh on him.
Chat, vote. We want you to make your voice heard.
now does Brock? I'm trying to tell. Figure it out. Does he have? Is that tattoos or hair?
It's both.
Hmm.
It's like those eyebrow tattoos.
On the back of his head?
Yeah.
I think it's hair.
I think it's like the magnet hair.
Wooly
Dude,
Willy?
Yeah, exactly.
Axe you got. You
Wooly
was me
Willy is
what
actually
neither.
from Norse mythology.
Me and my brother was one of our best.
Leo, you just
So don't
spoiled the
let
Wooly
nobody
Willy
else go
fight
work
in
on
this
it.
game that he's in. This.
We are
gotta
split
handle
on
it
every
special,
instance of boy
or
versus
she'll
only
rip me
Kratos.
out.
I say keep it Kratos.
All the time he says it in
Yep.
the office.
Now if it's so
That's his
pleasing, son of a
sign off when he leaves the office.
Yeah, right.
Hey,
Keep
everyone.
it Kratos.
Have a good weekend. Keep it Kratos.
You are right. I do not believe you. Come, boy.
Yep, that's a real boy.
There's a rune in the shape
That's right.
of a fork under the grip. No, digger beach
Are you guys keeping a Bakrov counter also?
Do any of those words translate to
My
boy?
brother and me before we split. I got half of it right here, see? Look, you want I should upgrade her or not? Very well. I expect an improvement.
Freaking Kratos. He's
Yeah, it's
just
like,
the worst.
I want to make your axe better.
for free.
Well, I mean, he may not trust him.
Yeah,
So,
for
where's the
free.
other half of the brand?
All my dumb brothers got it. But I got all the talent. Look!
At my talent, right here. I've got it.
Do it.
Here's my menu. Hope you like it.
Would you like the Bluetooth upgrade?
All right. A frozen flame.
And hope you can get really close to your television for this part.
This and
Text is
Yakuza
very
back to back,
small.
I was shocked by how small the text was.
Okay. Yeah. L3. Okay. All right.
Everything checks out here. Okay. Just where I left it.
I stuffed the frozen flame into your ass.
This has the best, coming up shortly, the best Kratos, like, what a wet blanket moment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's my favorite part.
Okay. I realized that I probably could have been going into
the word, kid.
into the menu at some point and actually
No one wants to see that.
buying skills and stuff.
Oh, with 16. I mean, I don't know how much you would have been able to buy, but
Gonna be.
I think you probably could have bought a couple skills. I think the Reaver tunic looks super dumb, and I didn't get it for that reason.
I got it because it looked different.
Yeah. So like this
Yin
is
and
what
yang.
this is kind of what I was talking about before is that you've got like your general sort of shoulder thing
Mm-hmm.
and then you've got your
A nice top.
Big
your vest.
Witcher-esque sweater-looking thing.
Yeah, and like things those are these are two of the main
Sets.
I mean that's just kind
Yeah.
of how things look and some there may be more ornate or have different,
Yeah.
There was a
twists on it, but
Joe. You might be able to realize what I'm saying, but like there's that yellow one that was just mostly shoulder pads that just looked incredibly weird. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
no.
Okay.
So here I'm selling
Sweating the details.
selling this crap. If you also want, like, if you want to sell things that you don't want in your inventory,
Mm-hmm.
you can do that and just buy them back.
Okay.
Yeah, boy.
Oh, I wanted enough. Whatever.
What'd you forget? Well, don't look now, but our friends who were hiding in the trees are back for
And it's hard to see, but every time you upgrade your axe, there's like a cosmetic upgrade to it also.
So long as he's all great nothing.
So in case that's how you level up, right? Because now you're level 2.
I think the way you level up is like it might be a combination of
Okay.
skills
Of
and
just
equipment.
upgrading all your various things.
I don't know. Maybe it is just equipment. I don't know. Like what the number that is your level represents and how that's calculated is left pretty opaque.
Because I know that upgrading the Leviathan unlocks new skills for you to use, right?
Yeah.
And so like those are distinct levels of like now you have access to level 2 skills.
Yeah.
Bartholomew asks for the buyback. Is there a time limit or item limit or anything? Can you buy back anything?
I don't think so. I think it's just always like I sold some piece of like chest equipment early in the game, and then I could just like always buy it back. And I think it's even for the same amount that you received for it.
I think he says it in a second here.
Should put you in the right direction, sure. Want to see my wares again?
I think it's right when you leave.
Okay. Well, before we do that, I want to
Okay, yeah.
jump over to.
Hey, we
skills.
show off the world's best map, right, Joe?
Oh yeah. So the
The
map.
negative 0.25 map.
Yeah, this map is great for showing you, like, you know, if it were the real world, it'd be like, oh, I'm in Minnesota. But what city in Minnesota and how close you might be to other cities in Minnesota is
That's not important. No.
Towards
Yeah.
the middle.
It's not. It's not a great map, and that gets to be a problem later if you really want to like dig into.
Exploration. And
Yeah, but it does a decent. I mean, it does its job to some extent. Okay, let's see what
Brock,
this is.
Fuck else you need?
Wow.
how come your brother's got half your brand?
'Cause I ain't in a working relationship with that footlicker no more. I wasn't about to let him use it without me, and he likewise. Only thing to do was split the brand 50-50 down the middle. Guess that was the last thing we saw eye to eye on. What? You want a hug? Hit the road.
I want a hug.
Okay.
If you wouldn't mind.
Boy, we're looking at a lot of skills here. Atreus stuff is good. We want that. Oh boy, that's suppose I should be more careful about how I spend this stuff.
Sidewinder17 asks, can you chop down trees with your axe? We chopped down one at the very start. Do you chop down any more, Joe? Or is that spoily?
The most important one you chop down is at the very beginning.
I know the fight with the stranger, trees get knocked down as your bodies are flung into them, but...
Let's see, do I get my execution?
Well, Sidewinder17 wants to know about chop down, Jeff.
Okay.
There we go. This is good. I should have bought
As
that.
far as I am, I have not seen any sort of wood chopping, I think.
There's not like a Mortal Kombat style test your might
No.
against a log.
I mean, as far as maybe Joe can answer differently. Maybe the last boss is a giant tree, just to bring it full circle.
Yep. Not this time, Kratos.
It's the tree from Wispy Woods. Except, he's all dark and brooding this time because, it's a much more mature and serious game. God, I just imagined what Kirby would look like in this engine of just like we made a hyper-realistic Kirby.
You can see all the little hairs.
Finally get to see his toes.
His toenails.
Kirby with toenails.
And then I don't have, I just don't have the other stuff. All right.
Sorry.
We're in the last 15 minutes of the stream now. Let us know any other questions you got. Again, we're keeping it generally spoiler-free.
I can at least upgrade that one.
Don't be too careful now.
Metal God 1990, do enemies respawn when you visit places again? Or after finishing the game?
Yes, that worked out.
Yeah, not in the exact same. I mean, it's not like, oh, this encounter again.
Okay.
I would say the enemies are, if you're revisiting an area, the enemies are definitely like less dense on your second time through. Once you clear an area,
Come.
It was nice meeting you.
yeah,
Mark.
I mean,
Here we go.
I'll be thinking of a name for
hold
your
on.
beast.
How about I name her fucking Gratitude? Hey, fucking Gratitude, come over here. I like it.
Doesn't the guy, he says that he calls the upgrade adequate, and Brock gets all pissed off about it?
You thinking of a different game?
Are you
Yeah,
thinking of
probably.
Are you thinking of Perkins?
I'm thinking of Perkins. Would you like anything off our
Try our-
adequate menu?
yeah.
And you ate their food and you said adequate.
Adequate. I'll take that muffin to go.
That was what you wrote on their tip.
Alone.
I'll pay full price.
I would like to order the adequate
People are
5.
one thing.
15%
Everything
on
else
the
you
dot.
fight until I say stop or we are dead.
What is the most you've ever tipped on a meal?
Go your way till we go home.
I understand.
I don't know.
Good then.
Tip on what?
On a meal.
I've noticed that I'm more tempted to tip a lot when I get bad service because I feel like they're giving me bad service because they don't expect me to tip, and I'm like proving them wrong by tipping them well.
You're tipping them out of spite?
Yeah,
Who hurt
Okay.
you, Leo?
I pretty much
every
just
waiter.
give 20% all the time, good service or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing about tipping is you don't really do it based on the service. You do it based on whether you tip or not.
Yeah, on your own moral compass, not...
Right.
Because I don't know. I was a server for a little while. Leo, you were too, right?
Yeah.
I was also one.
I didn't ask you.
Oh, sorry.
And no, because like part of that is just like so much of that could just be totally out of your server's control,
Yep.
right? It's like,
Yeah.
like how busy is it? Who's in the kitchen? Like, did so and so call in sick? Anyway, all of that garbage is like,
Yeah.
like it doesn't
Wait
feel
there.
fair to me to like penalize
Yeah.
the server for.
I don't think I've ever had a situation wherein like this server could have specifically done something to prevent this and did not, or like did something wrong that is in no way out of their control. So
Right.
it's just hard for me to say, well, yeah, you guys were understaffed, but I'm still not gonna give you a tip because I didn't get my food on time or whatever.
I should not have recalled my axe.
Isn't there one in this arena?
Yeah, there is.
If you run back, you can let this
Yeah.
close on people too and crush them.
Yeah, I did that. It was cool.
Yeah, or kill your son even. Hi, son.
You're over there. You're
Boy.
Yeah, wait, what's gonna happen here?
Oh my God. Oh no. we
Oh, you
can't watch
idiot.
this. I have to turn the stream off.
Oh right. It's almost.
Yeah.
They also slowed down, so it's almost like the spikes waited for him to like, hey, get out of the way, get out of the way.
Everybody gets a trophy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, I was thinking about that guy I killed.
Our boy detection software. is,
Get out of there.
trust I will not let us die.
All right. I don't know if we're coming up to the end of the stream. Should we mess with this rune thing? People care. Should we just keep going?
Yeah, we keep going.
Let's just
Keep going.
This way.
Unless you plan to continue this playthrough, you know, have at it again.
I don't. No.
Then yeah.
Are you supposed to tip on to-go meals? Asks the Hereticus. Timeless question.
I usually give a couple bucks when I pick up a.
Yeah, I think usually. What about carry out
Never
pizza?
been this close to the mountain before.
Do you tip
No,
on carry out pizza?
I don't do that.
Looks so big. Wish Mom was here to see it.
Is it
Well,
a
she's
spoiler
right
to
behind you.
say, will you learn how Mom dies in the game? Not specifically tell me now, but do you learn more about that?
I think the
boy.
best thing to say on that front would be there
Boy.
is more to learn about the mom than is told you explicitly at the beginning.
Okay.
Is the mom Foghorn Leghorn?
Just answer the question.
Kratos making tender love to Foghorn Leghorn.
Yeah,
It's
is that
actually
a
where-
QTE in the game?
It's actually where he got the tendency to say boy all the time. It's from Foghorn Leghorn.
What is it?
So the fact that we're like what
Look,
2
runes
hours
written
into this at
alongside.
this point, right?
Mhm.
The idea
What does it say?
the idea that you could get
As
through
we
this
are,
game
We two,
quickly
we
seems
three.
ridiculous. Like we've
As I
barely
alone
scratched
can
the
never be.
surface here.
The riddle.
Mm.
So the idea that like I
Maybe
heard
there's
someone
a
say
clue
or
around
like theorizing like, oh man, I could get through this game in like 10 or 11 hours or something. It's like, man, I mean,
If you skipped every
Ma- I
cutscene
mean-
and like made a beeline to every objective,
Can
like,
you skip cutscenes?
I
Seems
don't even
like
know.
maybe those
And I guess
first
like
two
okay,
clues-
never say never. Maybe someone can find, but like man, you are really not playing the game if you are getting through it that fast. Like there's just you're not absorbing.
yeah,
it.
you'd have to actively want to not sort of like engage with a lot of the game to do that.
Yeah.
You have to speak friend and enter.
That's
Yeah.
You
Right.
can get
There's-
down.
Whoops. Oh yeah, I don't have to do it from up here, do I? Let's do it down there.
Oh, bet you could freeze those gears if you wanted to.
Yeah, I know, kid. I just blew it. All right. Oh, wait.
That was-
No, that was wrong.
You're designing your own runes.
I'm
Check
doing
this
this
one out.
freestyle.
Yep.
I'm ruining it.
Hey.
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 That's my Joe.
Twitch chat is divided on Subway right now. Where do we stand on that, fellas?
Fresh.
I think that part's
What?
right.
Do tip Subway?
I don't.
Should you eat fresh? Is Subway good?
Oh,
Is Subway Jared good?
Subway Jared is not good,
Okay.
but
They're pretty split on it in the Twitch chat.
I had a period of about
oh.
3 or 4 years where I would eat Subway for very regularly. It was alright.
Yeah.
Good story. Yeah.
I don't
I,
like.
I
a-
set you up for the most amazing story of all time, sir. That's what you give me?
The time I went to Subway, it's not as good as the time I went to Perkins story, but
Boy,
Man, they used to have little toy. Oh
what do
boy,
those runes say?
toys in the wishing
It
well.
says family.
in
Jeff, you know what I'm talking
Mhm.
about.
It's not a
Okay.
clue.
at Perkins.
Yeah,
It's the answer.
you're too young.
What
All right.
I alone can never be. Right?
Use your knife and trace the runes into the sand.
Really? Kinslow. Something happened.
It's actually I kind of like playing this with subtitles because all of those like Norse words that
Yeah.
I just sounded like gibberish before. Now I whoop. Sorry, I actually know what they're saying.
I like playing most games with subtitles.
Yeah, I normally do also.
Is that true for Subway titles?
Yes,
Like
I
sandwich
love
artists?
Subway titles.
It is
Read
behind
fresh.
us now.
That's right. That way I know what it is I am eating fresh.
Do they have a funny name for like their assistant managers and stuff at Subway?
Don't they
Oh,
call
like
them like sandwich
conductors?
artists?
Well, sandwich artists are the people who make the sandwiches.
Oh,
What's that up there?
sandwich managers.
Man-
Engineer.
Managing
Sandwich
artists.
composers.
There's another dumb
Orchestrators.
dumb
Yeah.
raven that's hard to see everywhere.
Oh, I missed
Sandwich
him.
conductors.
Sandwich conductors.
I particularly remember the super annoying ones.
Yeah.
Boy.
Yep.
These tracks.
A boar, maybe? Not sure, but I'll find.
Go. It is important for a warrior to keep his skills sharp.
To be fair, he's been taking pot shots at monsters for a very long time. I think a boar really matters.
How much time we got left, Leo?
7 minutes.
All right, that's enough to throw my axe at this thing a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are 9 of these giants? Doesn't it say like how many out of 9 you've killed each time you kill one?
I don't know how many giants there are.
It feels like plenty.
There are enough.
Do they have all have differences like this? Like how this is the flame guy?
He's
Or do they
mustard.
repeat ever?
I think that there must be more than one like flamey guy, but maybe one is like the lava guy or something. You know,
loophole. Just change the color of the lava to blue, and he's the water guy.
Well,
now.
if he's the fire guy, I have a similar gimmick, so I'm gonna call myself the lava one.
it's like you run into the Mega Man problem of
Yep.
Heat Man, Flame Man, Fire Man. What is there a Fireman? I don't know that.
Probably.
Let's say there is.
Probably. And,
wonder
and
if-
his name is Donald
I was just
Trump.
gonna say, going crazy on him. You're just ignoring those other guys. I like that.
Oh, hey, there's a thing. Give me that. Whoop.
Oh, now you've got more rage.
Wah! Again.
So, do you think that those things are like trick gum or something that makes him mad? Like when he tries to pick them up? Like, as an item, what is upsetting him so much?
It's just like really powerful, like a taste, like blue cheese or pickles, and it's like, oh, I hate this overpowering taste.
Oh, cilantro! It's like soap.
The tragedy of this game is that he ends up eating a lot of something he doesn't like.
Does this game have stats like how many times you threw your axe?
I wish it did. It does not.
That'd be cool.
Oh, I still have to fight these guys though, huh?
You think they would just...
The guy was just
Run
kind of
away.
waiting for you to hit him.
You said one more to go, dummy.
Look, he's
The
homeschooled,
boy can't
okay?
count.
Does he say anything if you let him kill an enemy entirely and just sit there and...
No, but there are times if you use him a lot in a fight, he'll say something like, "Oh, I can't feel my fingers," or something like, you know, like he shot his bow a lot.
Yeah, and if you don't use him at all, he'll say, hey, you know.
You can use my arrows more.
I don't know what to shoot at. Are there guys here? You've got to tell me, Dad.
Okay, yeah, no, we get it.
Look at him brooding over there in the corner of the screen.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Takes after his father.
It's boring. Okay. There we go. Actually, I did want to go in there quick to use equip this heavy thing. So I've been doing a lot of my light runic attack. I don't like that one very much, but that one's good.
So your shield comes out of your gauntlet on your left arm?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like one of those
there's-
collapsible colanders.
Yeah.
You know the one.
Yeah, I hear you,
Animal
man.
ahead.
I knew it was a boar.
Boar.
Keep a boar count as
Partial
well.
credit.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Shoot when you're ready. Remember, draw to your
Are there
chest.
QTEs in this game?
Boar's hide is thick.
No,
You sad about that?
no. I think that that was
But
That-
I hit it.
that was
didn't I?
awesome in God of War.
did what you
Like
said,
that was
it
the
looked
time
like
and
it
place
bounced
thing
off.
where like those things were
Could the boar be magical?
so cool. I thought so anyway. And then
Yeah.
What do you think?
time has not been kind to them.
looked weirder
And
than
like
any
they
boar
were
I've
just
ever
used to
seen.
death in other games all the time and
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember Resident Evil 4 being one of those things where it's like, oh man, I'm interacting with the cutscene by
Yeah.
pressing a button. It felt really new. And
I
then,
never
yeah.
feel safe, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah. And
Layer
now
of
like
fear.
part of the problem is then like it detracts from your ability to like enjoy
The cutscene itself.
a cutscene because you're just waiting for these prompts.
More of
so.
those people?
Yeah.
Something else.
Squareburger says, so Leo, including yourself, what are everyone's opinions on the game so far with as much as they have played besides Joe?
Ah, another one!
All
Since
right,
his
Leo.
opinion is documented on paper.
Yeah, you can read mine. It's boring.
I like what I played a lot.
I'm pretty. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I like it.
Dang it.
Leo?
It's really, really polished and well done. But I don't know if I've had what you humans call fun with it very much so far. But I'm very interested in the story and that aspect of
Yeah.
it. But I'm not like
Decent
pulled back in
start.
at this point. Partially again, Yakuza 6.
Mm-hmm.
Here, it ran under.
I'm glad that I was able to play that earlier.
Yeah. Between this and Yakuza 6, I have a lot of stuff that I want to play right now.
I still have Yakuza 0 to finish.
Steady hand.
And then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah, and then all
And
the
then
way.
Kiwami again, so you're basically doing one twice.
Right. By the time you finish that, you've got Kiwami
Do not
2.
lose it.
Yep. Then you have to play Dead Souls, and
Yeah.
This timing actually works out pretty well.
yeah, then you have to join the actual Yakuza.
For
Yeah.
coming up to the end of the stream, this is not a bad
Yeah.
not a bad stopping place.
Not a bad stopping place.
Boy,
Yep.
I'll
One
plug the-
final boy.
One final boy for the road. Bringing our
Boy.
total count to...
Ah, another one!
Oh no.
There's a lot of them. No.
Okay.
where
Oh,
are you?
oh, this section, this is basically the press square to boy. How many boys you want?
Let me boy.
Let me boy.
I want to boy it.
I found it! Please hurry!
It's me, your boy.
It's not letting you do it anymore?
No, I'm really spamming that button.
It's him.
Atreus!
He's slowing down!
Oh,
Wrong.
he even
Kratos.
like tried to give us the finger by saying Atreus instead of
Wait
boy.
for me, boy.
Boy!
Let's get it to 30. We're at 29.
Come on, Joe, you can do it.
I'm doing my best.
Atreus!
He's taunting us now.
Does Kratos have a last name?
Kratos is his last name.
Oh,
His first name is Jacob.
Dr. Jacob Kratos.
Dr. Jacob Kratos. Esquire.
All caps subtitle.
Atreus!
No, we couldn't do it.
All right. Are we going to show this, Joe?
This is a good spot to stop.
Yeah.
Belong to anyone.
He doesn't. He's my friend.
The boy was followed
Hey,
by
is this
Boy! Whoa, 30!
Then help fix this.
30 boys.
Please.
30
Hold,
boys.
I said he's losing blood. The last of his kind in all the realm.
All right.
Shoot him.
Well,
You needed
Well,
food.
I'll plug the game club one more time.
yeah.
Please do that.
Target practice.
Where should we stop, Leo?
I'm so sorry.
You should stop when you meet... Oh, God, what was his name?
Mimir.
Mimir.
Really die?
Play along on the GI Show podcast feed. We do game clubs for games as we want to, I guess. This one's coming up next week. So play it, tell us your thoughts before the Mimir part, and we'll all
Start with the
have a
left
good
side.
time together
Grab it
next
and
week.
hold.
Mm-hmm.
Good times together.
That's right.
All right. Hey, speaking of good times, thanks, Joe, for giving us a good time.
Yeah, you guys too.
And Serial, you too.
Yay.
Leo, as always.
And our fair viewers,
Yeah,
who gave us the greatest time of all.
absolutely.
The real God of War
Keep a steady
was you
grip.
guys.
Mm-hmm. All right, bye.